Hi guys, and welcome back to Memoirs of a Trader podcast. First and foremost, thank you so much to all of you guys for the fantastic feedback of the episodes that you guys have seen so far. Today we continue the journey of having stimulating conversations with interesting people, and today I have got Zoheb. Zoheb, who you would have seen at some point throughout my journey in pictures as well on social media. So Zoheb, he is a CEO of Bull and Bear Properties. So Zoheb, you want to introduce yourself to anybody? To everybody, sorry.
Hi guys, I'm Zoheb, also known as Realtor on a Harley, and I am the CEO of Bull and Bear Properties here in Dubai.
So first and foremost, before we get into the nitty gritty, I want everyone to understand Realtor on a Harley. Tell us a little bit about Realtor on a Harley and your business and what exactly that you do in terms of property.
We're a very small agency, but very focused and very boutique. What we mainly do is we deal with the investor clientele, focusing mainly on assets that would help get a fair amount of appreciation as well as great rental returns. The reason for the small team is because we don't take up properties from the resale market directly. What we focus on mainly is acquiring the asset, managing it for our clients, and then either flipping it, renting it, or just putting it on short-term rental to make sure that these properties that we handpick make money and make sense in the future.
Right. So for all of you guys who are listening to this, so we are currently based in Dubai, and Dubai, the property, how would you describe it? The property boom, in Dubai. How would you describe kind of what happened? Because everything that you just described there, for those of you guys who are looking to come to Dubai to get involved in property, into real estate, buying property, flipping property, talk to us about why Dubai is the perfect and not perfect location to do this. Why is it the perfect?
We've all seen how the situations across the globe were handled back in 2020. Of course, Dubai has been grinding for the past 30 years, 3 decades almost, in trying to establish that this is the place to be. COVID is something that just pushed us in top gear and showcased to the entire world how we took care of things. The reason why you're seeing the property boom at the moment is because a lot of people from across the globe have realized that what they have seen today. And of course you have various other factors in terms of your taxation and safety and security and infrastructure, healthcare, and all the jazz. But that's one of the main reasons is what is driving the market today, and pretty much everyone wants to be here and have a house or a investment property or something that makes them a good amount of money on the side.
But when we talk about good amount of money on the side, how much money are we talking here? Because everybody talks about coming to Dubai to get invested in property. So how much money? Is this life-changing money? Are we going to be multi-billion, trillionaires? What type of money are we looking? Let's talk about real numbers here to give the viewers some real clarity. What we're going to do, like always, guys, real facts. Hocus pocus, wishy washy words. Straight. How much can people actually make here?
People can make a good amount of money, man. I mean, you're looking at returns of up to 7, 8, 10, 15% sometimes. If you're focusing on mainly flipping properties and you understand how the game works, you can go upwards of 15, 20% in about 2 years' time.
So the people that say they can flip properties and gain up to 70% plus on the first year are lying?
That's bullshit. I wish it existed. I mean, shit, why would I share it with you then?
Right. Exactly, right? And then so we're squashing that misconception straight away that
For sure.
that these ludicrous numbers that people will say are just straight up false.
I don't think it's... I mean, for anyone who believes that, I'm sorry, but you're stupid. It's not the way of the world. It's never been. Maybe once in a while you might find something that does a 50% profit, but that's a totally different asset class. You got to have that kind of capital to jump in at the right time to buy that product and make that kind of return. Like, for example, whoever bought in the Royal Atlantis back in the day, 7 million dirhams, which is almost $2.5 million, did not make sense for a 2-bedroom apartment, which is under construction, not even ready, and with 100 restrictions on what you can do with it. For a lot of people, that didn't make sense. But today, if you think about it, in the resale market, those properties are trading over 16 million dirhams.
Jesus.
But like I said, it's a totally different asset class. It's not for everyone's appetite. Not everyone can buy into something like that.
Right.
So these kind of opportunities do arise, but
it's not common.
It isn't something that you'd find every day. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And it's also not common for the common man or woman.
It's not for the common man,
Right.
period.
Okay. And so you mentioned that brand Dubai pretty much started to boom from 2020. Obviously, coronavirus being one of the biggest reasons as to why, right? Because, and I will firsthand also say that the way Dubai handled themselves, I was also here during that time, was very good. It made life very comfortable while the world was shutting down to all the scaremongery. Pre-2020, before coronavirus, how was the property market and investing in property back then? So we see the boom now, but prior to the boom, what was it like pre-coronavirus?
I've been in it for, I don't know, about a decade and a half. I saw the 2008 boom as well. 2002 is when they introduced the whole freehold, anyone can buy assets here. And we saw a very strong growth, but way too much in the positives, moving too fast. Of course, we didn't realize because we were in our own little world, in our own little bubble. And eventually the global economic crisis came and they took us down, right? Post that, Dubai has been adapting to various ways of improving this concept of the property investment market. We had another boom, I think, in 2012 or 2013 as well, but that was very short-lived. There weren't too many USPs because obviously Dubai was also growing, right? So, yes, pre-pandemic, it had its moments. It kept jumping up and down, but it was a very, very volatile market. It was like literally like gambling.
So I know of a few people, actually quite a lot of people, that early on, we're talking over a decade ago, did invest in property in Dubai. And many of them either pulled out, made a loss on their investment, and left. Right, left the market. There's a few of them that kept it, and obviously the Dubai boom helped, but they saw no hope. It was kind of like, the way I can describe it, it was a lot of hope, yeah, but a hope that would eventually play out maybe in a decade or two, right? And obviously no one knew that the whole coronavirus situation was going to improve brand Dubai, right? But it did. So, yeah, I would also agree that it had its ups and downs prior to that. So the question I'm going to ask now is that we've had the before coronavirus, we've had the coronavirus boom. What about, we're 2024 now? How do you see it kind of, is it sustainable? Because we are now at a really high trajectory, right? So is it sustainable? And would you advise people to invest while we're on the up?
You mentioned clearly about what happened in the past, and you mentioned clearly what's happening right now. People may say that, oh, it's a bubble, and we've already crossed what was the highest that we've had in the past, and everything. But when investing in asset classes like these, what's most important is to look at stats before anyone can make a comment on what's going to happen, or is it the highest that we've ever reached. You have seen some of the craziest transactions in terms of value take place over the past 3 years, which shows the kind of people and the kind of businesses moving into the city, right? In terms of stats, you can also go on to a couple of websites. Forget your local newspaper websites, right? Just go to international. You have the UBS report, you have Knight Frank, and so many others. You can go on to there and understand what's happening in the system over here. You can also go on to the economic department website and find out how many new businesses open up in Dubai every single year. I think it's probably the highest compared to anywhere across the globe, right? Various other factors that I mentioned earlier as well. You've got the safety, which you don't get in places where you come from, like the UK and so on, right? You've got crazy taxes in the US, UK, Europe, whatever.
Yes.
Move that down to the Asian part of the world, right? India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal. Sri Lankan economy is down in the dumps. India has their own internal problems, which they're not able to sort, right? There's a lot of conflict with religion and so on and so forth. The governments in Pakistan, various other factors is what is driving people to come down, to settle down here. Not because we have the best weather across the year. We have shit weather in the summer. But people value all these things that they are missing in their own countries, where they said that, you know what, I want to live here forever. This is my home. I want to retire in India. I want to retire in the UK or whatever. That's no longer the case. If someone asks me, Z, where do you want to retire? I say, fuck, I want to retire in Dubai. I don't want to retire back home in India. I mean, yeah, India is great. My family's there. I love the people and all of that. But do I feel safe when my wife goes out in the evening to party with her friends?
No.
Well, of course not. When I go to the UK, do I want to wear a Rolex? No, I wear a Casio.
Yeah.
Right? When I go to the US,
Facts.
I just rent a simple car and I drive around. I don't want to rent a fucking Mercedes or something.
Yeah, facts.
I haven't been to other parts of the world, but you get the idea. So
Yes.
this is the major driving force, right? And then all these multi-billionaires from across the globe, what do they work so hard for? They want peace. They want luxury. They want to live and enjoy their life. You don't get that in the UK.
Yeah.
You don't get that in the US. You don't get that in India. I go to India, I have like an 8-year-old minivan which I drive around because I don't want to get noticed.
Of course.
So these are the factors that just keep bringing people here. And to answer your question, yes, I would still advise people to continue investing in the market, not because it's my business. It is because of the confidence that the city has built for the people across the globe. That you want safety, I will give it to you. You want to drive around in your Rolls Royce, which is one of one, no problem. No one's going to come smash your window. I uploaded a video of a Bugatti 2 years ago in the UK
Where
the window was smashed.
Yeah.
That video on my page got over 50 million views. Dude, the guy is driving a Bugatti. He doesn't want people throwing shit at him.
Of course.
His window was busted with a hammer,
Yes.
right? You can do that here every day.
The guys on the bikes, right? The guys on
Yes.
the bikes came with the... Did you see that one? It was
You
nuts,
can,
you know?
You can do that here every day, every time, anytime. You can walk on the streets at 5 o'clock in the morning in the darkest alley and not worry about anything. My wife wants to go out with her friends in the evening. I go to sleep. I'm not worried and awake that, oh my God, where are you? Checking her location and all that shit. This is why people keep coming here. And this is why businesses open up here. People have moved their headquarters into Dubai.
Yeah. So I have a really interesting stat here. And this is to do with how you and your company deal with competition. So in 2022, registered real estate brokers reached 12,989. But reports up until this day suggest now it's 30,000. So the market is saturated. There's a lot of people in real estate here. So why, if I've got money and I want to get involved in real estate, and for those of you watching this as well, and you want to come to maybe Dubai, you want to put some money into property, why do we come to you? What about Andrew, who's cheaper down the road, or like Sally down here, who promises me the 70% a year? She says 70% a year, Priyesh. Why am I gonna come to you and I'm not gonna go to Sally or Andrew? Tell me.
Sally looks pretty too, I'm sure. So I don't know, man. I've been doing this for a few years now in terms of social media marketing. And what I do for myself is I give out value, right? I put everything on the table. You could go and work with Sally. I'm sure she's nice to look at and everything. But what we do is it's not just looking at, oh, here's a new project, it's in a great location, you'll have nice views. Investors don't give a shit about the views. Okay, yes, it is a criteria that they look at eventually. Investors don't care about the amenities. You say, oh, my building has 40 plus amenities and 50 plus. Investor doesn't care. The investor cares about is where is the audience going to come from that's going to help me make my money back? Because that's why I'm investing. I want my 7% annualized returns. Where am I going to get that? When we locate properties or assets that we want to recommend to our clients, it's not just everything happening in the market. There are certain products we don't promote at all. Now, I'm not saying this as a pitch that, oh, you know what, you have to work with me. No, you can work with whoever you want. Someone who's promising 70%, people do that because they get carried away. The smart investors, the real sharks, they understand, they see. When they see, they observe, and they observe, they know that this person is not talking out of his behind. They understand that this person is giving out so much value is because he understands what he's talking about. Unlike a few of the real estate brokers who go around just talking about every single development that comes into the city. Price per square foot is extremely important. Is that area demanding the price per square foot that the developer is asking? Does the payment plan make sense? Is it going to help me make my returns, let's say, over 12 years? What are the views and amenities? Yes, that comes in eventually, but the most important factor is this asset going to attract the people who are going to eventually rent or buy from me? And that is what we try to do here differently. We don't sell as much as the guy who's showcasing probably every single project in Dubai, but we have a set of niche clientele that we work with, mainly the investor clientele. Our homeowners or end users, like we call them, for our business is probably 10 to 20%,
right,
who come from referrals, recommendations, friends who want to buy houses, and so on. But majority of our clientele is investors. They see what we put out. They see our socials. I have a fairly decent following all across my platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And this is where the big guns are always observing, especially YouTube. And that's where they come from. And that's when we take care of them. So that is why I feel that,
So it's interesting you spoke about social media there. So I've got my notes that you spend about 40% of your time creating content and about 60% of your time actually on your business. So would that have been the case, let's say, 6 years ago when social media wasn't, well, social media has been there for a little while now, right? But when it wasn't at the forefront of everything that we do now. So 40% on your time on social media is a lot. And a lot of us business owners we will all agree that we spend a lot of time on social media because it's a way to market your product or service. How has social media helped propel your business? What has it done beneficially for you?
Social media has played a very, very important role in my business. Helped me skyrocket, actually. If I were doing the same type of business I did about 5-7 years ago today, I would probably not be sitting here in this agency that I own today. It has brought me clients from across the globe that I don't think I could have ever reached by saying, hello, sir, do you want to buy a house? Right. Impossible. Right? Because of the value that I put out that I mentioned earlier, this is what helps me attract the who's who of the globe. And that is why I spend that kind of time on social media. It has just made it skyrocket. And that is why I also emphasize on my team members to focus heavily on their social media. Yes, it takes effort, it takes time, but nothing good come easy, right?
To the point where you no longer need to source clients, the clients come to you.
We work on pull marketing rather than push marketing. It's something that you see everywhere. You'll see a nice little snippet, a beautiful apartment, 70-30 payment plan or 30-70 payment plan. Own your apartment for just 150,000 dirhams, and that's clickbait. The smart people know that.
So that's not true. When someone says own your property, 1 check, 2 checks, 3 checks for, and just explain to the viewers who are not from Dubai, what do you mean by checks first? What's checks?
Okay, I know you don't have checks probably in the UK or the US. So what works here is that when you rent an apartment, rent a property, you pay in advance, but the money is not encashed out of your bank account. It's a form of a security document, like a check, and that's drawn from your bank account eventually when the date it is due on. So usually when you rent an apartment, you pay in 4 checks. That's paid over every quarter.
So it's like installments, but via checks.
Correct. It's a form of guarantee.
Right, and it's only deposited when it is due.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Okay. So that's collected in advance. That's a system that we use here in Dubai. They did try to implement another system where we go check-free or checkless, but I don't think that was... I think it was a little too early for its time because we're so used to a system that is already in place, which has this physical checkbook, and we draw our checks every time.
Okay. So if I had, let's say I had about $200,000 lying around, I wanted to come to Dubai. I want to grab a property. Are you telling me that it's not possible? Well, not even 200,000. Let's say I've got 20,000 and I want to start. But because you're saying it's possible via checks, do I need to have the full amount? Or can I come with a small amount for a deposit, secure property, and then pay via checks? Is it possible to get a nice property with some nice views for, let's say, $20,000 as a deposit?
$20,000 down would be what? About 80,000 dirhams.
Yeah.
That would probably get you something like a 400 square feet or a 700 square foot, one bed or a studio apartment. You could use that money as a down payment, yes, but then eventually the rest of the payments would have to be made over time to total up to, say, about 180,000 US to about 200,000 US. You won't get the nice views, but this would become more of an investment asset class. You're looking at return on your investment. This is where you're going to either flip the property eventually or put it on rent. I don't think it's something you choose to stay in.
So let's sort of we're clear on this. Imagine we've got kind of like the shoreline where we've got Burj Khalifa. You go down Burj Al Arab, then you got Palm, you got Marina. Let's just say that shoreline. The further into the desert you go, are we looking for this type of property more in the desert area, not skyline, shoreline area?
Of course, not the coastline, not the skyline.
So if we're more into the desert, am I going to be getting the same returns on my rental than I would downtown?
No, definitely not. Downtown has already appreciated a lot, right? So whatever you acquire there, you're probably going to look at 4 to 5% annual returns. Now, the reason for that is downtown is more like a cash cow. You want to buy in downtown if you have surplus, which is sitting idle doing absolutely nothing. So that if tomorrow I am in need of those funds, I can flip my property quicker, probably overnight, and pull my money back out. What we're looking at is somewhere in the suburbs, away, a little bit away from downtown. Let's say a 15-20 minute drive, acquire a nice piece of asset that gives you about 7 to 8% returns because your cost of acquisition is much lower compared to what it is in downtown. Yes, downtown does fetch decent rental yields, but
is it because you're always pretty much guaranteed a booking versus
Exactly.
not guaranteed a booking?
it's like New Year's Eve, where do you want to stay? You want to stay in front of the Burj Khalifa, right? If you're a water guy, where do you want to stay? You want to stay on the Palm, or you want to stay on beachfront, or La Mer, or Blue Waters Island. These kind of properties have the scope for great appreciation because they sit in the center of the time of those locations. But if you're looking at more of a rental return, then you're going more to the suburbs, lower cost of acquisition, which gives you a better return.
So here's my options. Further away into the suburbs, desert, cheaper property, potential higher returns,
Higher yields, yeah.
higher yield, but not fully booked out day by day because the demand is not really there. Or the other option is more shoreline downtown, less yield, yeah, able to
But you're always booked out.
always booked out, yeah, but unaffordable property, right?
It's like this. There's two kinds of products. You have Zara and you have Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton does sell product, yes, but not to the masses.
Right.
This is something.
It's a certain clientele.
Correct. You have a certain niche clientele for that, and they are in abundance. There's a lot of them. Similarly, with the Zara, which is more affordable product, which everyone can afford, so you have a wider audience, better scope for it getting the attention it needs.
And I asked that because obviously for the viewers watching at home, I'm very aware of Dubai, you're very aware of Dubai, but a lot of people have this conception that Dubai is Burj Khalifa and all of these nice things. They don't understand that. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to go to Dubai to invest in property. I don't think they quite realize the costs involved for having that Burj Khalifa view, etc., etc. Like if you've got a certain pot of money that you want to spend for investments, my friend, you will be in that desert suburbs, you know, because you've got to be realistic. And that's what I wanted to make the viewers understand, that Dubai is not just that. It's a big place.
This is a big mistake that people make is what, when they come to invest in Dubai, everyone says, I want to be in downtown. But what's the logic behind it? Yes, downtown's amazing. Times Square is amazing. You know, downtown Dubai is beautiful. But you're buying an asset not to get married to it. You're buying an asset to make money out of it. What are the what do you call it? Aesthetics of it should not make too much of a difference. It's not the Rolls Royce that you're buying just to drive around. You're buying something if it makes sense to make that kind of return. If it's in front of Burj Khalifa or it's in the desert or the suburb or whatever you want to call it, shouldn't matter. If I put down 10, am I going to make 4 every year or 3 every year? That's what's more important. But yeah, Dubai sells that whole concept of, wow, Burj Khalifa, Palm Jumeirah, Royal Atlantis, I don't know what.
Every advert that you'll see,
there's a Burj Khalifa at the back.
Of course. That's what's going to be the iconic picture. So naturally, you think, yo, I need to go to Dubai because like this. But it's the same thing when it comes to even living here, right? Like, I learned the hard way, right? It is. You have to understand what's sustainable, what works within your budget, your life, and living within your means.
Don't get carried away by the glitz and glamour.
Yes.
That's all I can say. People have burnt their hands. And whoever's watching, just be smart about it. You know, just be mindful about it. And invest into what makes sense and what gives you money back. Not because it looks pretty, like Sally.
So, let's take it back to people that come here looking for jobs. I have come across some very interesting stats that over 60% of people that come to Dubai look for jobs in real estate because they believe the commission is going to fund their expensive lifestyle. So, true or false? Why is there so many people in this place that are just obsessed? And I use the word obsessed with real estate. The vast majority of people I come across, I'm in real estate, I'm in property, I'm in real estate, I'm in property. There's so many. And a lot of people work for these companies because they're after that commission. So maybe they've seen on social media that someone has landed a property on the Palm, like 5 million dirham, and they think, okay, I've got my, I don't know what the percentage is, 3%, 5% commission, and now they think they're going to come and do that as well. I mean, people are literally coming here, flying here, haven't secured a job, I'm going to go into real estate.
Because we make it look good.
Can you live your life without security of where you're going to get your next income from? Could you?
We do that every day.
Asad, could you? No?
We do that every day. Now, look, I know your question and I know where it comes from. It's, yes, everyone's waiting for that one fat client. And that client is going to change my life concept.
Business going to go...
I'm going to skyrocket. I am going to the Burj Khalifa, to the top.
Moons,
I don't know,
spaceships.
Will Smith
all the
was
crypto
sitting.
boys talk about it a lot.
To the moon.
Spaceship, to the moon,
Right.
spaceships.
So, yes, we all work towards that. Yes, but there is a lot of grind that goes behind, which nobody showcases.
Yes.
I would want to blame a little bit a few of the industry experts. I'm not going to name what category are these people in, but they're done pretty well for themselves, right? And they promise the million dirhams in the first year, which is not true. I've been doing this for a decade and a half and I'm still looking for it. But you get the idea. Plus, a lot of people get inspired temporarily by social media. A lot. We showcase all of it. We showcase the cars. We showcase the lifestyle. We showcase the watches, the parties we go to, eating out at Zuma every week, every night, partying with I don't know who in the Atlantis and so on and so forth. We showcase that. But it's mainly not to attract this kind of attention. It is mainly to attract the other kind of attention. It's done so that the client also knows that the broker he's working with is capable.
Yeah.
He does transactions. I showcase 20 sale purchase agreements at one go is because I have done that transaction.
Of course.
This also helps.
It's not fabricated.
It also helps build confidence in the guy who's going to come to me with 20 million dirhams next and say, you know what, Z, handle my shit, please.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a firm believer in number one backing what you say.
You have to.
And in this day and age where social media is so big and at the forefront of every business, it's true. If you, in real estate, if you have a bedroom, you're working from your bedroom, yeah, and you don't have any clients, you don't look aesthetically successful, no one's going to come to you. The same thing in my industry, right? What's the two things that sell? Like, we know this from our last conversation.
Yeah, the last one we had.
Lifestyle and money.
You know, one of my team members, when she joined me first, she was very against that. No, Z, I'm not going to showcase my sale purchase agreement on the social media. You know, I'll get black eyes and I don't know, evil eyes and all that bullshit. And I'm like, no, change your fucking concept. Change your thought process. If you don't show the people that you're putting out so much content and that you are someone who is making transactions, and she makes a good bunch of transactions every month. Of course, took her a while to get here, but she is there today. And I'm like, yo, you need to showcase this to people so that when they approach you, they are confident in what you do. If you, like you said, if you're going to be sitting in a shared bedroom with your friends around and doing up, I don't know, stuff for social media, nobody's buying from you, man. They're going to laugh at you like, oh my God, who's this guy? He's a joke.
It's true. You know, someone said to me, a good friend of mine said to me, Priyesh, when it comes to your trading course, I will never take your trading course, he said to me. I was like, well, why? Because you're too cheap. And at £2,000 for my trading course, yeah, I think, and I think the vast majority of people, I think that's quite, well, it's not expensive, but it's a fairly
fair amount.
Decent cost, right?
£2,000 is what? 10,000 dirhams.
About 10,000 dirhams, yeah. And he goes, I will never buy your course because it's too cheap. If it was priced at £5,000,
I'd buy it.
I'd buy it because I think there's more value in it because it's at a higher price point. You see? Yeah. And so it's interesting how people have different views. And he's a very successful individual. And he said, I will never buy your course, even though he knows me, just because of that one purpose, that the price point, yeah, is just too cheap for me. So I get that. So my next thing is, would you say you would be as successful as you are now if it weren't for social media?
Good question. Let me just put a thought into it. I wouldn't say I wouldn't be as successful or not, because besides the whole system that we used to have back in the day and which still exists, which is cold calling, something my agency or my values and my wife's values are completely against, is something called cold calling. We don't do that over here, right?
Why?
Because our concept is pull marketing over pull marketing. Hey, pull marketing over push marketing. That's what we do.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Pull marketing is mainly, I give you everything you need to know for free on the table. Then you'd ask, where would I make my money? I make my money from the transaction that you bring to the table for me on that deal. So that's where my money comes from.
Right.
But I have had in our industry, there are two kinds of brokers. Okay? One is the farmer and one's the hunter. A lot of agency owners have called me the farmer. Now this is why, because they say my agent goes out today, he sits with a client, he closes the deal there and then, no matter what the client needs to hear, they tell him that. They chop the meat and they bring it home. And they tell me, you're the farmer. You go out and you throw seeds every day. And you throw seeds every day for months, for years, for weeks, for whatever. And eventually, all of them start popping out. And that's where your transactions come in. So that's why they called me the farmer in the industry.
I like that. I like that.
So what we do is we do pull marketing. We attract you by giving you so much value at no cost. And we do that because we are able to, because the serious sharks in the industry, they want to work with people who are professional. I'm talking the big guns. The guy comes in, okay, you know what? You're recommending this. How many of these should we pick up? I'd be like, 5. Okay, done. What's the value? 15 million. Let's go. These are the kind of people who look for the people who give value without expecting anything in return, because then they understand that that agent's interest is this shark's interest. And that's what we work on. That is why we're so anti-cold calling. We do that across the board for our team, and everyone works on pull marketing than push marketing.
I personally hate teams or companies, marketing teams calling me for, hey, do you have 2 minutes of your time? It's never 2 minutes. yeah, and you call me at the worst possible time, and it's some people like it, some people like to talk on the phone. Me, I don't, unless it's something actually important or my wife needs me to get something from the supermarket.
Time is expensive.
Absolutely. And so I hate when marketing companies call me. And so it's something that we don't do either. We don't call people to push them into taking our products or services. It's got to be your choice. Of course, my industry did it different because it's the money industry. So it's already a touchy subject. So now, give me your money. It's just like robbing someone, you know? So we would never go down that route, right? But if you were to cold call me right now, ring, ring. Yeah.
Hi, Priyesh.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Can I have 2 minutes of your time, please?
Is it going to be 2 minutes?
That's the standard cold calling procedure
Right,
over
okay.
here.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Go on, you've got 2
I
minutes.
haven't done one in a while.
Right, okay.
Sir, I have this amazing opportunity, which is once in a lifetime. I don't want you to miss it. Now, you may ask me where this is. I'm not going to let you speak throughout the call. Okay, but you know what? It is right in downtown across the Burj Khalifa, and you can rent this out for phenomenal amount of money.
Right.
Do I have 20-minute Zoom call with you whenever you are available?
20-minute Zoom call. I thought you said two-minute conversation is going to go to a 20-minute Zoom
Yeah,
call.
this is the 2-minute
Right,
conversation.
okay,
It's
so-
done now. We
so
need to
this
get onto a
this is
Zoom
down.
call.
I've heard about Dubai. I've
Okay.
heard about Dubai. I've never been there, but obviously I've seen the pictures. It's like
It's beautiful,
where
isn't
the rich
it?
and famous go, right?
Yes, exactly.
And
That's why
so-
you need to invest here.
Right. So very quickly, what type of numbers are we talking here? Because I probably, if I'm honest, my savings, I probably got about like $500.
Sorry, I just had to.
That was very rude.
No, I have a lot of. The problem is that, okay, fine, I understand. This is the old way of doing business. Yes, you have to call clients, you have to inform them about the product and so on and so forth. There's other ways to do it as well, but people like to use the conventional way, the old way of doing, which is calling clients, informing them about the products, blah, 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 blah. You don't know anything about the person you're speaking with across the phone, right? And you just call up a guy and he'd be like, bro, I found your number in the database. I'm going to call you. 90% of the time, it's a telecaller. They have no idea about what they're talking about because they're like, you know what? Hey, the agents are busy closing deals. Let's hire a telecalling team. I had one guy call me yesterday from this location, which is in the desert, probably like 1 hour away from here in the desert. This is the place you can make 60% capital appreciation within 1 year, waterfront community, Crystal Lagoon, the lifestyle, and I don't know what, this and that. Okay, fine. Where is it? This one. Okay, fine. What's the price of the apartments? Oh, I'm going to have one of our experts give you a call back. I'm like, then why did you waste my time with all this bullshit? You could have had the expert call me first. Maybe I'd have interest. Now I've lost interest because you don't know what you're talking about. There isn't enough training put into it. You know, there isn't enough effort and time and money put into the concept of cold calling. Back in the day, I used to cold call 150 to 170 calls a day.
Jesus.
So I'd start at 8 o'clock in the morning because I know a lot of people are in the car driving to work. Maybe someone will give me face. And I'd continue till about 7 o'clock in the evening from my office or one of the sales centers of any of the developers. 7 o'clock, I'd leave the office and I'd go to a bar. I'd pour me a pint, open up my laptop, pop my headphones, start calling people because you know what? Now they're in the car going back home. So I'd continue that till 9, 10 o'clock at night. Don't get me wrong. It got me a client, but it took me 9 months.
What, for one client?
For one client.
9 months for one client?
Yes, sir. That's when I realized this is not the way to go. And I started networking. Started going to the right events, going to the right people, the right industries, and I started making friends, started talking to people. Yes, I know I speak to 100. I'd probably make meaningful relationships with I'd probably make a relationship with 10. From that, I'd make meaningful with 5. And probably I'd get a client, but a higher chance of closure, a higher chance of getting a lead that might eventually transact. And that became my model right after those 9 months. I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. This is not going to work. So going to the right industries, finding the right people, trying to attract them towards me, build a rapport with them, visit them every day if I have to. And that's where business started coming from.
Very good. Very, very, very good. Clever.
And then
as
came
well.
social media.
Yeah, so social media really did just like catapult of a lot of people's businesses as well. It gave you eyes, and so it's how I realized and recognized you, right? So for the viewers at home, we was at an event, and at that event, I spotted Zoheb, right? Because it came across on one of my TikToks, right? Of course, we are very active on TikTok, and it came across, and it was fantastic because it was something that grabbed my attention, and we know what it's right. You got it. The hook has got to be strong, right? 3 things to not do in Dubai. Yeah, I remember it. 3 things to not do in Dubai, and I watched it. I laughed, and I thought, that's brilliant, right? That's brilliant. And then, literally a few days later, I see you at an event. And that's when I came up to you because, hey, man, I've seen you on TikTok. Fantastic. And look, power of social media. And here we are right now on my podcast talking about all things property and just having a great conversation, man. So power of social media.
I just want to cut in. I want to give credit where it's deserved, of course. Asad takes a lot of it. He was the one after me. 2018, 2019 is when we started.
I just wanted time.
I don't give a shit, man. Look at where we are today at, right? And then, of course, Raj was also responsible. He's the one who used to have this 3 Ps of marketing, social media.
4 Ps.
4 Ps, right. There you go. Fuck, I should concentrate more. Not have my whiskey while I'm on the course. So, yeah, I mean, all those things were like a driving factor. And I was like, okay, you know what? This shit makes sense. And then eventually, 5 years down today, like...
Fantastic. And then so I want to ask you now some quick fire questions.
Okay.
This is always good. I love doing
this. Is that like
with,
a yes and no
with
answer?
my guests? Not yes and no, but I'm going to give you 2 options. You just got to tell me.
Okay,
which
sounds
one.
good.
All right.
Thank
ready?
you.
Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. Buy or rent?
Buy.
Cash buyer or mortgage?
Cash.
Harley or Ferrari?
Fuck. Harley.
We're going to get to this in a minute. Suit and tie or cool and casual?
Cool and casual, but smart.
1 check or 4 checks?
1, man. Give me my money.
Cockroaches or no cockroaches?
Why don't you answer that?
0 cockroaches. Guys, we are in 2024. We should just make a pact that we should accept to not live with insects. Can we do that? Is this all right? Can we do that? When has it been all right to live with insects? Yeah? No, with like generally, can we just not accept paying a lot of money for our rent and properties and having to deal with insects? So I'm going to answer for you. No cockroaches.
Mm-hmm. Damn right.
All right, this is a cool one. Dubai Hills or the Palm? Answer carefully.
Palm.
The Palm? What?
Yeah.
You know where I live, yeah?
Dubai Hills.
So why you pick the Palm?
Because the palm is the palm.
Don't go to the Palm.
Plus, I want to sell more properties on the palms.
Before we love living on the Palm as well.
No, but Dubai Hills is awesome. Trust me when I say that.
It's good.
I've sold a lot of product there, and it's done pretty well for itself.
Yeah.
It's 10 minutes from downtown, man. Even though you don't go to Dubai Mall every day, but I like to be close to downtown.
Yeah, it's easy. You see it, right? From one side, we see Burj Al Arab very clearly. They've got these lasers going on every night now. Yeah, and then obviously we see
Burj Khalifa on this side.
The big pointy thing as well. So we see that as well.
70% return on your investment.
70% return on your investment.
You want to buy a house?
So let's talk about this actually. So I get asked a lot of questions. So I had properties in the UK, which I sold. When I moved to Latvia, I sold the properties. I took the money. I took the money and I put the money into making more money via what I do for a living, via stock market, investing, trading, etc., etc. And because the way I look at it, I don't want to rent my property because for me, £1,500 a month with the headache, the cleaning, the maintenance, and hoping they don't destroy the property, and hoping that everything is normal, you know, and I don't get squatters. Squatters are people that can live in your house and not leave. I don't want all that, and it's too much headache for small money in my, you know, to me. Yeah,
for sure.
So I prefer to take the chunk of money to make more money, and then I buy property outright, right? So I could put the question to you: if you had a property, would you do something of a similar sort to what I have done, or would you keep that property and rent it?
So you said you collect a chunk of money and buy the property.
So no, I put it into the stock market or into my industries.
Right.
Make more, let's say double. Yeah. I then can buy a property outright.
Right. And
So
what do you
then-
do with
then-
that property?
what with the property outright
you to live in?
Either to me to live in, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, or it's gonna be a holiday home or something, but it's
Right.
outright. There's no mortgage. I try to
Right.
live life with no debt or no attachment, so to live debt free, so I don't owe any money to anyone, right? So that's my thesis of how I live.
Okay. And what would I do with it? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
So in terms of when I've accumulated that money.
Yes.
Okay. So what I usually do is, for my clients as well as myself, I try to acquire those assets when they are at ground zero. They don't exist, mostly on paper, right? I buy them. I utilize the payment structure that the developer offers me because that's less money out of pocket. In my opinion, we get them at a better cost, which is comparatively lower than what a ready asset is worth. We utilize the payment plan. Once the property is complete is when we apply for a mortgage. Now, when the site appraiser comes in from the banks, they give me an appraisal of the price of the property at that time. Could be up, could be down as well, right? Let's say it is on the higher side. Let's say it's gone up in value. So we take that additional funds out along with the capital, and then we start investing in the next one. So that's how usually we work it out. And that is why today I have personally accumulated 5 assets that I own.
Fantastic.
Of course, the end goal is about 10 to 20 by the time I'm 60.
Right.
So that I can live off passive income.
Fantastic. And how old are you for the audience?
40.
Fantastic. So I want to change the topic slightly, and I want to go to what you're wearing. Yeah. So I love that. I love your badge. What did your badge say?
My parents said I could be anything, so I became an asshole.
So is that a Harley jacket?
Yes, it is a Harley leather jacket.
So do you own a Harley?
Yes, I do.
Can I come and see the Harley?
We go and see it downstairs
Fantastic.
after this show.
And then I see your hat, Baby Z.
That's right.
Talk to me about Baby Z. Who is Baby Z?
Baby Z is my son. His name is Zayden. He was born in June 2021, and he passed away after 11 days. We used to call him Baby Z as a nickname for himself.
Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear
It's all
that.
right.
Can I ask, if you don't mind, how did you... what happened?
He was pretty okay when he was born. They kept him in the... What's that? I forgot the term. It's like a child care facility.
like-
yeah,
yeah.
something like that. For about a day or two, and then he was fine. We drove him home. He stayed at home throughout his time. And it was Father's Day. And that was the 20th of June, 2021. And that's when we felt that something wasn't right. Because we saw him kind of look down and constantly falling asleep or whatever. We rushed him to the hospital. All this happened in the US, in Dallas, Texas, where my younger brother's been living for a few years. And he had an apartment. We decided to buy a house because we're like, you know what? Okay, now we're going to relocate the family. Like my mother and my wife are going to move into the US 6 months prior, give him birth over there, or he's going to take birth over there, and then he'd have the US passport. So we had planned this long in advance. He came home on the 10th day. He was looking very down. We drove him to the best hospital in Dallas, Texas, which is called Children's Hospital. It's one of the biggest brands in the US. And when we took him there about 7 or 8 p.m. is when we realized. So we rushed him there. They plugged him in or whatever. They started their treatments. And we didn't have a clue as to what was going on. Even though the nurse, when she saw him first, that the entry nurse who does the BP and I don't know what, she said, it looks okay. But one of the other nurses came. They saw him. They grabbed him and they went straight into the room, right? They started the treatment. Couple of hours later, they said we need to relocate him to the main hospital, which is the headquarters of the Children's Hospital. So the entire Children's Hospital brand has their headquarters in Dallas, Texas. So they put him in an ambulance. My wife jumped in with him. I was driving right behind. Until date, every time I drive behind an ambulance, I feel like shit. But when we reached the other hospital, they again took him in. We were there the whole night. They come out to us in the morning and they're like, his organs are failing and we have only one source of medication to save him. But since his organs have failed, he'd probably live like a vegetable. So, what do you guys want to do? And then we thought that, you know what, no one deserves to live like this. So we asked them to pull the trigger or pull the plug. And he passed away in our hands. So that's the story behind Baby Z.
Oh, so sorry, man. So sorry to hear that and have you guys go through that, you know. And just for the viewers, show everyone the tattoo on your arm. That's beautiful, Baby Z.
Thank you.
You know.
And that's why I have him everywhere.
Yeah. So how did that, the whole episode, like you said just a moment ago, every time you drive behind an ambulance, you don't like it. At that moment and till now, how did it make you feel?
How did it make me feel? I was a different person before this episode or this part of my life. And it has changed me completely.
Yeah.
What you see on social is obviously not how I am all the time. What else? I don't know, man. It's just trying to keep my head up every day. That's about it.
Would you guys try for another child?
Personally, I don't know if I am ready yet.
Right.
But my wife, I think she is kind of ready. But we'll see eventually how we get to where we get.
So that emotional scar is what's still there, painful, hurtful.
Every single day.
I don't know, as a father myself, I don't know how I would be able to cope. So I can't even fathom or imagine what you've been through, what you go through, the strength you have for you and your wife to keep progressing, you know. And so all utmost respect, love,
Thank you.
to you and your family, you know. And thank you for sharing that with myself and the audience.
No, I love talking about him, man. He's my kid.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I always see him on your car when you post about your car as well. And so it's a beautiful thing, man. And Zayden's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
If you were to have another child and you were to have a boy, name?
I don't know. I haven't gone there yet.
Zayden the second.
Who knows? We'll see.
But okay. And on that note, guys, I just want to say thank you to Zoheb.
Thank you for having me. It was a good session. I liked it.
Yeah, for being a fantastic guest and giving us a bit of an insight into your world as well. And so, and final thing to the viewers, the usual, guys, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you like what you hear, it will give me the push to keep going, to keep getting guests, to keep having these inspiring and interesting conversations with a lot of people. Again, it's something that I never thought I'd ever do or ever go down, right?
I'm glad you're doing it, man.
It's just something that I just always wanted to do because I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people. We have a lot of conversations offline. So why don't a lot of people actually now start to listen to what we talk about? Because it's great. And so that's why. And so please, guys, help the channel out. Like, comment, subscribe, and do share this along with the rest of your friends and family. And I look forward to see you guys on the next episode of Memoirs of a Trader.
Awesome.
All right, guys, take care. Thanks, guys, and thank you.
Thank
Zoheb.
you.
Appreciate that. Thank you so
bro.
much.
Take care.
Cheers.